Hello everybody. Hello, hello. Today we're going to have a Tricks of the Trade. We're going to be talking about Treasure, Chapter 7 of the DMG 2024 version, which is so far looking out to be the better Dungeon Master's Guide of the 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons system. By far, it's kind of kicking ass. So we're going to be talking about Chapter 7, Treasure, which is useful to talk about because as a DM, if you're interested in doing this, you will be handing out treasure a good bit. So having some metric as to how to do that or what you can hand out, I kind of did an overview of this chapter, just kind of reading it, and I was like, they know what they're doing here as well. So we're going to go over this as well. So let's jump into this. Let's do this. There we are. There's a big ass dragon. Alright, so we open with a black dragon on top of a giant pile of treasure, with what looks to be a handy haversack or some type of, I think it's a handy haversack. Yeah, pretty sure it's a handy haversack. Let me do a zoom so people can see. Yeah, 150 is probably what I want. Okay. Let's jump into Chapter 7 of the DMG, Treasure. This is the Black Dragon Onyx guards her treasure hoard in the ruins of Zak Sarath. Adventurers strive for many things, including glory, knowledge, and justice. Many adventurers also seek something more tangible, treasure. This chapter presents treasure in all its forms, from coins to magic items. Treasure themes. Okay, so they've kind of cut it up to 4 themes. You got Arcana, gemstones plus magic items of an eldritch or esoteric nature. Armaments, coins or trade bars, plus magic items that are useful in battle. Cool, because they've kind of set this up in 4 because they attach these to creatures that you kill in battle. So, like, you might roll once on the Arcana check or twice on the Armaments check. Implements, coins, trade bars, or trade goods plus magic items that focus on utility. Okay. And relics, art objects plus magic items that have religious origins or purposes. This is kind of cool. It's a cool delineation they've done here. Alright. Let's see here. Coins. We know our coins. They have included election pieces. That's not always included, but they have included election pieces. Election pieces are half a gold each. 50 coins of any type weigh 1 pound. Cool. Trade bars. Some people like to trade in trade bars. You have trade goods. You got 1 pound of wheat, costs a copper. A pound of cinnamon or pepper, 2 gold. Gemstones, this is very useful. This is like the most useful chart so far. You're gonna want to hand out gemstones in order to kind of mix it up as opposed to handing just gold or silver. So this is great. 10 gold piece gems. I like to say that when you sell gems, you get half value. But that doesn't mean they're not worth their whole value. Like if you have a spell where you need 100 gold piece pearl, you can use 100 gold piece pearl for that spell. You got azurite, obsidian, rhodochrosite, tiger eye, turquoise, 50 GP gems, 100 GP gems, all the way down to 5,000 GP gems where you have black sapphires, diamonds, jacinths, and rubies. Art objects. Very cool. Again, these are great charts. Just use these. They're great. Okay, now we get to the good stuff. Magic items. Okay. There are 2 prerequisites, items made for specific creatures. You might decide that a magic item doesn't adjust its size to fit anywhere. For example, a particular armor might make items useful only for folk who are sized and shaped like dwarves. Paired items. You can allow exceptions to the rule that paired items must be worn. For example, a character with only 1 arm might be able to use a single glove in this scenario so long as the matching glove is on their person. Well, that's kind of neat. I like that. That's kind of neat. Alright, magic item categories. armor, potions, rings, rods, scrolls, staves, or staves, wands, weapons, wondrous items. We all know what this stuff is. Potion. They talk about potions now. Potions are consumable items. Drinking a potion or administering to another creature requires a bonus action. Is it the same thing as demanding a bonus action? Like you can only use a bonus action? I think I would allow using an action or a bonus action for a potion. Whichever one you want. Mixing potions. A character might drink one potion while still under the effects of another potion, or pour several potions into a single container. Okay. Here's the potion miscibility chart, if you do such a thing. This has literally never come up, at least in the past couple of years. Most of the time when people drink a potion, they drink a potion, or just forget about this. But I mean, this isn't an optional rule. This is like part of the rule set. Potion miscibility is no longer optional. This is what happens when you mix potions. I think it was an optional rule in the 2014 version, I think. Rings, rods, scrolls, staves, wands, weapons, ammunition, wondrous items, magic item rarity. Let's see. Common magic items can often be bought in a town or city. Uncommon and rare magic items are usually found only in cities, and rarer magic items might be sold only in wondrous locations, such as the City of Brass or Sigil. If you allow characters to buy and sell magic items in your campaign, rarity can help you set prices for those items. Gold piece values are provided in the magic item rarities and values table, though a seller might ask for a service rather than coin as payment. Interesting. That's good. I mean, you put in a quest option there. That's cool. Okay, magic item rarities and values. Again, I'm not happy with this. Like, I think this is lazy. I think this is lazy design. I understand what they're doing, but people, and especially DMs, need more specific values to every item, which is why when someone came up with the same magic item price index, like, it was a blessing. It was just straight up a blessing. But they got rid of the like, it used to be 5 to 15,000 or 5 to 50,000. Like, it was just a random, like, if it was something rare in the 2014 version, it was just like this random set that you'd have to choose from. So now they're being a little bit more specific, which is nice. But this is altogether, I think, still lazy. You just need to price your items. Every D&D campaign that I've ever played in or that I've been a DM for or seen other DMs run for, there have been shops. People run shops, so you need specific prices. So this just puts more work on the DM. This is lazy. Awarding magic items. Awarding magic items is the purview of the DM. Okay. Are magic items necessary? The D&D games assumes that magic items appear sporadically, and that they're a boon unless an item bears a curse. Characters and monsters are built to face each other without the help of magic items. Which means that having a magic item makes a character more powerful or versatile than the generic character of the same level. As a DM, you never have to worry about awarding magic items just so the characters can keep up with the campaign's threats. Magic items are truly prizes, desirable but not necessary. Okay, well then the D&D game does not assume that they appear sporadically. The D&D game assumes that they do not need to appear sporadically. Or the default is that there are no magic items, and should you choose to put them in, well, you do so at your own peril, I guess. DMs, for, you know, if you're trying to break, you might break the game by putting these magic items, which, you know, that's a choice. That's a choice. You could do that. You can say the default is no magic items. If you put them in, that's up to you, and that's on you. I go both ways on this. I think that I understand the design choice because there's a lot of DMs out there who, let's say, they want more of an organic low magic setting, and I can understand making a default game for them. But this game mostly runs by heroic fantasy, and heroic fantasy needs specifically priced magic items that will occur in your game. So, I see both. But I'm kind of leaning towards you probably should have made this game with the idea that people will get magic items. But, even though they said all this, here's some magic items awarded by level. You could have a player wish list. This is something I've done before. Like, encourage your players to keep a wish list of magic items they hope their characters will find in the course of a campaign. This could be very useful. What's an item you want to find? Let's see if I can make something cool around it. It's a good idea. Overstocking an adventure. Ooh, this is interesting. When creating or modifying an adventure, assume that the characters won't find all the magic items you place in it. An adventure usually can include a number of items that's 25% higher than the number in the magic items awarded by level, round up. For example, an adventure designed to take characters from level 1 to 4 might include 14 items rather than 11, in the expectation that 3 items won't be found. Yeah. I mean, I guess. I just find that most magic items I put into a campaign, characters are gonna I think the average is probably like somewhere in the 80 to 90% are found. Just because most players these days are completionists. They really, really try to search for everywhere for the magic items. But that's, 14 items rather than 11, and the expectation that 3 items won't be found. I mean, that is it, though. That's kind of what that is. 80 to 90%. Yeah. Okay, so here we got the big chart. Ooh, and there's a tracker. You can literally track what you're handing out. This could be useful. But, so at tier 2, when you're level 5 to 10, you should have 10 common items, 17 uncommon items, 6 rare items, 1 very rare item, and 0 legendary items. It feels like a lot. It feels like a lot. But maybe it's not. Maybe it's not a lot. And then you're just getting legendary stuff towards the end. Pretty much. Legendary and very rare. Okay, cool. I tend to not give as many legendaries. That's not true. I sometimes I give legendaries at tier 2. I'm kind of all over the place on this. This one's much more of a gentle slope towards a legendary, but I kind of mix it up. This is very cool. This is gonna be very handy. A magic item tracker. I've done this for Mossdale now. I start listing every single magic item that I'm handing out, so I know. Because Mossdale's such a huge campaign, I created a 1 through 20 campaign, level 1 through 20. I need all the tiers sectioned out, so I did something like this. This is a good chart that you might want to print out. It's a good page. And this downloadable PDF. Love that. Random magic item rarity. Okay. Oh, cool. Oh, very cool. Find the levels, and you can roll something to see what. Oh, that's awesome. You literally can. Yeah, that's a great idea. Magic items for starting characters. Okay. Use tables and check to randomly determine starting items. Okay. This is when you're above level 1. Yeah. Cool. You can use the tables that they have broken into four things: armaments, arcana, implements, or relics. Cool. Usually it takes a magic item to activate a magic item. Okay. Magic action to activate a magic item. Okay. Command word, consumable items. Potion heal must be swallowed, but you should probably say right here that consumables takes a bonus action. Because it's very different. I mean, it does say right there. Yeah. Spells cast from items. Okay, let me read this, because this comes up. Some magic items allow the user to cast a spell from the item. Spells cast at the lowest possible spell and caster level, doesn't expand any of the user's spell slots, and requires no components unless the item's description notes otherwise. The spell uses normal casting time, range, and duration, and the user of the item must concentrate if the spell requires concentration. Many items, such as potions, bypass the casting of a spell and confers the spell's effects with its usual duration. Certain items make exceptions to these rules, changing the casting time, duration, or other parts of a spell. So right there they said potions you don't need to concentrate with potions. Cool. That's basically what they're saying. They weren't explicit there, but that's what they're saying. A magic item may require the user to use their own spellcasting ability when casting a spell from the item. If the user has more than one spellcasting ability, the user chooses which one to use with the item. If the user doesn't have a spellcasting ability plus 0 for the item, and the user's proficiency bonus still applies. Okay. 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 Charges. The next dawn, magic items often have charges or properties that recharge the next dawn or some other specified time. If such an item is on a world or plane of existence where the specified event doesn't occur, the DM determines when the item recharges. I mean, honestly, like, this is one of those things, like, I understand the need to hold on to next dawn items from the past, because there's such an emphasis on... There's some items that have an emphasis on, like, the sun, on when it comes up. They're religious items that need the next dawn property, I get that, but, like, just say long rest. And then I would just have a thing with long rest, so you can only long rest once per day. And then you don't have to use the next dawn. You don't have to use that. You just say long rest. But maybe that's just me. Cursed items. A magic item's description specifies whether it bears a curse. Most methods of identifying items, including identify spell, fail to reveal such a curse. I changed that. I let identify reveal it, but other methods won't. Like your poor man's arcana identify, like that will not reveal its curse. Instead, you have to touch them. And with the identify spell, even though this says you have to touch them, I would say you don't have to touch them. Because if you have, well, see, you're just making identify not very useful if it can't even pinpoint curses. I don't know. I would leave that up to discretion. Some items might not be able to. Some may. I like for there to be an ability to find the curse before you're affected by it. Magic item resilience. A magic item is at least as durable as a non-magical item of its kind. Most magic items, other than potions and scrolls, have resistance to all damage. Okay, good. Other than potions and scrolls. Okay. An artifact can be destroyed only in some special way, otherwise it's impervious to damage. Learning how to destroy an artifact usually requires research or the completion of a quest. Oh, here we go, making stuff. Okay. To craft a magic item, you and any assistants must have proficiency in the Arcana skill. Okay. The tools. Which tools required to make a magic item in each category? You must use the required tool to make an item and have proficiency with that tool. So you need proficiency with Arcana and the tool. Any assistants must also have proficiency with it. Okay. Armor, leatherworkers, smith's tools, weaver's tools, alchemist supplies for a potion or herbalism kit. Ring is jeweler's tools, rod, woodcarver's tools, scrolls, calligrapher's, Wood carvers for staff and wand. Weapon is smith's tools. Leather workers are wood carvers. Wood carvers is really good, I guess. Tinker's tools for wondrous item. Okay. Okay. All right. Time and cost to craft a magic item. Work per day. For each day of crafting, you must work for 8 hours. If an item requires multiple days, those days needn't be consecutive. Characters can combine their efforts to shorten the crafting time, divide the time needed to create the item by the number of characters working on it. Normally, only one of the characters can assist you, but the DM might allow more assistance. The cost on the table represents the raw material needed to make a magic item. Okay, so this is half the cost. I mean, you don't need this chart. I mean, you can. It's just literally half the cost, half the retail value of the item, which is great. So the time, this is the big thing that keeps this from being a part of a lot of campaigns, including a lot of mine. It is the time it takes to make these items. Common and uncommon items, it takes 8 hours a day for 5 days to make a common potion of healing. That is a lot of brewing and a lot of time to make it. But that's what you need. So that might not be appropriate for a lot of campaigns, especially if you have a time constraint, or maybe you just don't want it to be a part of the campaign. Sometimes this can get very video gamey, and it may not be appropriate for your game. It certainly isn't really appropriate for a lot of my campaigns. Like crafting is something, it's just something for a video game. Sometimes I'll put something like getting the ingredients for making something, but usually there's an NPC involved, so it's not an active thing on the player's dime. I know a lot of players are into it, but you know, it's very video gamey. Look at this picture. It's pretty rad. This dude just crafting. Going crazy with the book. Crafting magic items requires time and research. How much do we have here? Magic items, special features. You can add a distinctiveness to a magic item by thinking about its backstory. Who made this item? Is anything unusual about its construction? Why was it made, and how was it used originally? What minor magical quirks set it apart from other items of its kind? Answering these questions can help turn a generic magic item such as a +1 longsword into a more flavorful discovery. This is kind of neat. There should be a way, I know it's asking for a lot, but there should be a way to add these kind of quirks from D&D Beyond, so that it's easier as a DM to just like click and drag, because these are awesome. Let's read some of these. These are rad. Aberration. The item is ancient. At a glance, it seems to be covered with mucus. Gross. Celestial. The item is half the normal weight and inscribed with feathered wings, suns, and stars. Fiends find it repulsive. Devotees of Lolth. The item is half the normal weight. Ooh. It is inscribed with spiders and webs in honor of Lolth. Dragon. This item incorporates precious metals and gems from a dragon's hoard. It grows warm when within 120 feet of a dragon. Whoa! Whoa! Dwarf. This item is durable and has a dwarvish runes worked into its design. It might be associated with a clan that would like to see it return to their ancestral halls. There are some items in the Glitterheim in Forge of Fury that are dwarvish rune items. Elemental air. This item is half the normal weight and feels hollow. If it's made of fabric, it is diaphanous. Elemental earth. This item might be crafted from stone. Any cloth or leather elements are studded with finely polished rock. Elemental fire. This item is warm with a touch, and any metal parts are crafted from black iron. Flame imagery covers its surface. These are awesome. I wish there was a way to. I wish there should be a way to just patch these into existing items. Oh, a history? Prophecy. This item features in a prophecy. Its bearer is destined to play a key role in future events. Heroic. A great hero once wielded this item. Anyone who knows this item's history expects great deeds from the new owner. I do kind of like how a lot of this doesn't really do a mechanical thing. It's just lore. Here we go. Now we're doing minor properties. Now we're getting into mechanic stuff. So this is gonna, okay. Beacon. You can take a bonus action to cause the item to shed bright light in a 10-foot radius or dim light for an additional 10 feet or to extinguish the light. Cool. Compass. Magic action to determine north. Okay. Delver. While underground, you can always know the item's depth below the surface and the direction to the nearest staircase, ramp, or other path leading upward. Useful. Item. Guardian. The item warns you, granting a +2 bonus to your initiative rolls if you don't have the incapacitated condition. I mean, this is cool. This is some crunchy stuff. This is crunchy. Whenever you start doing modifiers, typically they don't add these to the game, but I'm okay with them every now and then. Harmonious. Attuning to this item takes only 1 minute. I just do that for all magic items. All my magic items are pretty much harmonious. Our attunement is weird. Unless you need it for a particular item. I don't know. Just attune to it. Key. The item is used to unlock a container, chamber, vault, or door. It's also a key. Secret message. A message is hidden somewhere in the item. It might be visible only at a certain time under the light of one phase of the moon or in a specific location. Oh, I gotta start using some of these. These are rad. Temperate. You are unharmed by temperatures of 0 degrees Fahrenheit or lower and 100 degrees Fahrenheit or higher. Whoa. Whoa. Magic items quirk. Confident. This item helps you feel self-assured. Well, that's nice. Loud. This item makes a loud noise, such as a clang, a shout, or a resonating gong when used. Okay. Artifacts. Okay. These are the big boys. You know, obviously you want to use discretion when putting these things. These will change your campaign. They will change. I will say when I do add them, you really want to put purpose behind them. But do it. Put them in your campaign. Do it. Okay, I've used these. I don't want to go too deep into these, but essentially, like, a lot of artifacts will say they has 4 minors, 2 majors, and a detrimental as well. I will just say these are pretty well done, and they are impactful. But there are charts here to make artifacts impactful and important. And they're good. I've used these. They're very good. Sentient magic items. Okay. So basically your roll abilities for sentient magic items, these things can think. Some of them can speak. Special purpose. Has senses. Sometimes it has alignment. It does have an alignment, just straight up does. Cool. Here's the alignment. Okay. Communication, it might be okay. Speaks one language or just transmits emotion. Okay. Kind of senses. Cool. Whoa. Purpose. Glory seeker. The item seeks renown as the greatest magic item in the world by winning fame or notoriety for its user. Creator seeker. The item seeks its creator and wants to understand why it was created. Oh, that's a quest in and of itself. Find at the beginning you're trying to find the creator of this axe. Soulmate seeker. The item seeks another sentient magic item, perhaps one that is similar to itself. Whoa. Conflict. When the bearer of a sentient item acts in a manner opposed to the item's alignment or purpose, conflict can arise. When such a conflict occurs, the item's bearer makes a charisma saving throw, DC 12 plus the item's charisma modifier. Oh, they started at DC 12. That's interesting. It's my first time seeing that. They suppose you want to make it hard, okay. On a failed save, the item makes one of the more following demands. Chase my dreams. The item demands that its bearer pursue the item's goals to the exclusion of all other goals. Get rid of it. The item demands that its bearer dispose of anything the item finds repugnant. It's time for a change. The item demands to be given to someone else. Keeps me close. The item insists on being carried or worn at all times. If the bearer refuses to comply with the item's demands, the item could do any of the following. Make it impossible for its bearer to attune to it. Suppress one or more of its activated properties. Attempt to take control of the bearer, whereupon the bearer makes a charisma saving throw, DC 12 plus its item's charisma modifier. On a failed save, the bearer has the charm condition for 1d12 hours. While charmed this way, the bearer must try to follow the item's commands. If the bearer takes damage, it repeats the save, ending the effect on success. Okay. Whether or not the attempt to control its bearer succeeds, the item can't use this power again until the next dawn. This is just... it's great fodder for drama. Highly recommend putting at least one, you don't want to go too crazy, 1 or 2 sentient magic items in a campaign. Yeah. I might use this to modify an item that's already in Mossdale. Yeah, I'm thinking about that. That might happen. And that's it. That's it for chapter 7. What is our next chapter? Oh no. Wait a minute. No, we're not. Not magic item. Oh, now we're into magic items A to Z. These are just all the magic items. Yeah. I'm not going to go through all the magic items in this game. That's an insanity. That's just insane. One, because it spoils things for players who like to watch. That feels like a big spoiler, but I highly recommend going through them if you intend to DM. You need to be at least somewhat familiar with some of the magic items, at least. But they have put them into Arcana tables. Cool. Armament tables. Cool. For like, cool. Okay, and then implements tables. Utility stuff. Cool. This is awesome. I need to use this more often. Because sometimes you feel like, oh, the marshals are doing too well. They have too many items. We need to put some utility and some relics in there for the clerics. This is very rad. Shield of Expression. What is that? It's just dumb. The front of the shield is shaped in the likeness of a face. While bearing the shield, you can take a bonus action to alter the face's expression. Great. Great. Cool. Scroll of Titan Summoning. Yeah. Alright, so the next chapter we have is going to be Bastions. Now, do I want to go over Bastions? Yes, I do. I do want to go over Bastions. Whoa. So this is really good if you are like... Bastions are really good if you have like one group of players and you are playing a very long campaign. They're great if you're playing a campaign if you have spots where everyone can't meet and you can do Bastion turns, where you could do like a text by play. Then Bastions are just incredible. But you can also put them in your game. I've read through this. I've put a modification on Bastions with some things in Mossdale, but I'm not exactly using all of this. But it's still very cool. So we'll go over Bastions next time we chat. But that'll do it. We're gonna do this every Sunday, talking about the DMG, and we're getting close to finishing because we got Chapter 8 Bastions, and that's it. Oh my gosh, that is it. You know what? We're gonna talk about Chapter 8 Bastions next week, and then we will go into Draw Steel, because I was just given Draw Steel by my buddy Neil. We're gonna talk about Draw Steel in about 2 weeks. Yeah. All right. Peace out, everybody. Have a good one.